So let's recite together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, and the totally self-enlightened one. So welcome everyone. Today we're going to continue with the Paṭiccasamuppāda, and we are going to look at the different layers today with the help of the Bhavacakka, the wheel of life. Okay, so today we are going to look at some more details about the Paṭiccasamuppāda using this diagram. So in this diagram, we will find different layers that are related to the Paṭiccasamuppāda. And we are going to look at it part by part, because if we just look at it like this, and there are quite a lot of details here. So part by part, we are going to go through the explanation of it. Now, the first layer to the Paṭiccasamuppāda is actually the 12 links that we have already looked at. As a revision, let's look at the 12 factors, the 12 links. They are the avijja paccaya sankhara, because there is ignorance as conditioned, then there is a sankhara, or sankhara arise. Now here, this sankhara in this diagram is translated as creative karma. That's because it refers to the wholesome and unwholesome action. This sankhara means karma, we already explored in a little bit last week. That means the wholesome and unwholesome action that will create result. So here it is translated as creative karma. So because there is ignorance and there is karma, wholesome and unwholesome karma, then there is vijnana, then vijnana paccaya nama rupa. Because there is consciousness, then mind and matter, nama and rupa arise. Then because there is nama and rupa, mind and matter, then the six bases also arise. And with the six bases as a condition, then contact will arise. Then contact and feeling also, last time we already mentioned that it arises together with the chitta, no? So with the same chitta. So contact, although it is the main condition for feeling, for mental feeling, Vedana to arise, they arise together. So because there is Namarupa, then Salayatana arise six bases. Because there is six bases, since we have the six bases, we are bound to have contact with different kinds of object. Then having contact with different kind of object, feeling arise, mental feeling arise, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling arise. Now, after that, with feeling as a condition, then tanha, craving, can arise. This craving, which is a weaker lobha, leads to a stronger lobha, which is the grasping, the upadana. Now, with upadana as conditioned, there is bhava, the becoming. Last time we have already seen there is kama bhava and upapati bhava, yeah? So the kama bhava are all kinds of wholesome and unwholesome actions, and upapati bhava is the rebirth, actually. So with becoming as a conditioned, then there is jati, there is rebirth, there is birth. With birth, there will be aging and death, for sure it will come. And also sometimes also there will be despair, mental and physical pain, etc. No? So all those will also come together. So these are the 12 links that we have already seen last 2 weeks. And this is called the 12 factors of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. So now let's go to the next layer. That's the time frame. So first, we are going to look at the time frame of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. Now, the time frame here, the Paṭiccasamuppāda, it's talking about 3 lifetimes. So the past, the present, and the future. That's called in Pali the Tayo Ada. So the 3 time frames. So here you see avijja and sankhara actually belongs to the past life. Because we have avijja, because there was avijja, and we do all kinds of different wholesome and unwholesome actions. Because of these two in the past, the present, vijnana, namarupa, salayatana, phasa, and vedana, consciousness, mind and matter, 6 bases, mental contact and mental feeling arise because of the past karma and ignorance, no? So this half of the Paṭiccasamuppāda is talking about the present life. Then now with what we already have as a resultant from the past causes, then now we are making new causes, and there will be Tanha, Upadana, and Bhava. Well, we'll go to the cause and effect later on. Now just let's look at the time. Okay, so this quarter is the past life, and this half belongs to the present. And because in the present, we again plant a lot of different kinds of seeds, wholesome and unwholesome, and there will be a future life. So that's this jati and jaramarana here actually belongs to a future life. So there's 3 lifetimes here. Because of what we did in the past, then we have present result, and with the present result, we create more present causes, and that will lead to a future result. So in the Paṭiccasamuppāda, we can see that there are 3 lifetimes, 3 sections pertaining to the past, the present, and the future. Now, of course, this past, present, and future, we're talking about 3 lifetimes, but it moves, right? So let's say this present life here. So the past, what we did in the past life, and it now become this life in the present, and then it will become the future life, next life. No, so let's say if we already pass away from this lifetime, so we're already in the future. So the present, what we did in the last life, that become the past life, right? So that's how it goes round and round and round and round. So with these 3, past, present, and future, it encompasses all the samsara. Throughout samsara, we have been rolling on and rolling on and rolling on in this cycle of the past, present, and future, like that. Okay, so just for your information, in Pali, this past is called Atita Kala, and present Pachupanna Kala, and the future Anagata Kala. So here we have 3 time frame here. Okay, so it is important to understand that this Paṭiccasamuppāda is not talking only about one lifetime. Although all the factors can be found in one lifetime, there is ignorance also, there is karma, and there are also the mind and matter, 6 bases, everything we can find in one lifetime, birth and death. But some factors, you will see that they are repeated, actually. For example, here we also have karma, and here again we have karma, and then here we have birth, but here we're already born because of the past karma. Then vijnana arises, and then we mentioned this is this is the Patisandhicitta, right? So here there is already born one time, and here is another jati. So if we take Paṭiccasamuppāda, these 12 links, to be only one lifetime, then something is not right, no? Because we cannot be born twice in the same life, right? So here it's talking about 3 lifetimes, past, present, and future. Okay, so now let's talk about the past, present, and future causes and effect, because Paṭiccasamuppāda is all about cause and effect, right? What causes, what are the causes, and what are the effect, no? So as I already said, avijja and sankhara is the past causes, That's what we have done in the previous time, in the past life, because there is ignorance together with wholesome and unwholesome karma that we have done. Those are the past causes. Because of these past causes, there are present effects. So vijnana, namarupa, salayatana, phassa, and vedana, these 5 here belongs to the present effects. They are result of what we did in the past. So because of these causes, then these present effects are bound to happen, and there is nothing that we can do about it. It will arise because those are effects, right? Now, because of these effects, because we already have mind and matter, then we are bound to have contact with different kind of objects. With different kind of objects, there will be feelings, mental feelings. We like it, we don't like it. And because of that, then craving can arise. Now, from here, tanha, upadana, and bhava, they are called the present causes. So here, there is nothing that we can do about it. But here, there is something that we can do about it, right? From what we get, like the Phassa and Vedana, we already have contact with object, and we already, mental feeling will automatically, it will arise. But what we do about this mental feeling or our reaction towards this resultant is actually creating new causes, right? So this from here, Tanha, Upadana, and Bhava are called the present causes. Now, since they are present causes, they are bound to have future effects, right? So jati, if we continue accumulating karma together with kilesas, together with defilements, then there will be again another life rebirthed here. So future effects of jati, jara, marana. Because there is birth, then there will be aging and death in the future also, right? So here we see we have the past causes, present effect, present causes, and the future effects. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper. Now we will go to the 3 rounds. In Pali, it's called the Watani. T meaning 3, Watani, Wata is round, so we will see the 3 rounds here. So what does it mean by the 3 rounds? In the Paṭiccasamuppāda, they actually, all the factors, they have kind of a grouping. The first one is called the Kilesa Wata, the round of defilements. And what does that mean? If you see in the 12 factors, some of them are defilements, such as avijja, tanha, and upadana. You see they are all in this pink color, right? So they are in one group. These 3 factors, they belong to the round of defilements. So whenever we see that there is avijja, then although it is not mentioned here, we have to understand that tanha and upadana are also present. So avijja does not work alone. Avijja works together with tanha as well as upadana. So these 3, they are a group. And they are called the round of defilements, the kilesa wata. And in the same way, well, this belongs to the past, right? Now, in the same way, when we look at the present causes, when we see there is tanha and upadana, we also need to understand that for sure, avijja is also there. So tanha and upadana, they also don't work alone. Then avijja is also included here, although it's not mentioned here. So this is the kilesa wata, the round of defilements. But why is it not mentioned here? And why is the avijja not mentioned here or tanha upadana not mentioned here? That's because in the 12 factors, only the leading factor being mentioned. To be brief, the leading factor is mentioned. Now we will see that in the past causes, avijja is the leading factor, tanha and upadana supports. And with this, then we create lots of different karmas, different wholesome and unwholesome karma. No? Now, in the present cause, now tanha is the leading factor in this at this time. With tanha and upadana as the leading factors, avijja also work together. Again, with this defilement, then we plant a lot of different seeds, wholesome and unwholesome. So this, we need to understand all 3 are together, although only the leading factors are being mentioned. Now, the next round is called, the next grouping is called the karma wata, the round of karma. This grouping is in green. No? So now you see sankhara, we said that it means karma, wholesome and unwholesome deeds, all right? So creative karma here. Now, when we see that creative karma is here, we need to understand that bhava is also there, becoming. They are together. Because there is creative karma, then there is also becoming. So these 2 is together. In the same way, bhava, when we see bhava becoming here, we need to understand that sankhara is also there. Creative karma is also there. Now you see, these five, they belong to the causes, right? Because there is avijja in the kilesa group and the sankhara, the karma group, sankhara and bhava. Because of this, those are causes, no? The results are going to happen. And so these belong to the causes, past causes. And here, in the same way, it belongs to the present causes. So those are the active factors, no? The ones that are actually we're doing something, no? So here also, bhava and sankhara, they are together. Again, here the leading factor here is bhava, and the leading factor here is sankhara. So only the leading factor is mentioned in the 12 links, but with understanding, we need to understand that both are included. Okay, so in this way, we'll see that there are actually 5 factors or 5 things together, 5 factors here in the past causes. 3 belong to kilesa and 2 belongs to karma. So with these 5 together, they are the past causes, and present effect will happen. Then again, in the present causes, there are also, again, 5. The same factors, actually, tanha, upadana, avijja, belong to the kilesa, vata, the kilesa, the defilements round, and bhava and sankhara belongs to the karma, right? So 5 past causes and 5 present causes. So here, we always need kilesa together with karma. These two, when they work together, then a new life will be the result of that. It will result in a new life. So a past cause will result in the present life, and the present cause will result in a future life. So that's the karma vata. Okay, let's go to the next round, the next group. The next group is called the vipaka vata, the round of resultant. You see those blue ones, right? If we look carefully, then you see that here, with these 5 factors, they are actually only nama and rupa, right? Vijnana is mind, nama and rupa, mind and matter. Salayatana, the 6 bases, it includes also rupa and includes the mind also, so also nama and rupa. Phassa is mind, Vedana also mind. So here, we are only talking about nama and rupa, actually. What we call myself or a person, what are we actually? We are nama and rupa, right? So because of the past causes, because of past kilesa and karma working together, the present nama and rupa arise. So this present life, no, this nama and rupa, this present life arise. So again, here, these ones, they are passive factors. So they are the vipaka, the resultant. They are the result of the past cause. Here, basically, they are not active. They're just because there are causes, and then the result naturally happen. So here, these ones, the blue ones, is vipaka. Now we see here again, there are another blue ones here. Okay, now the result of the past causes are the present nama and rupa, and with the present nama and rupa, we act with present kilesa and karma. Then there is again rebirth in future, right? Now this birth, what is actually meant by birth? What is born? What ages and what die? That's also nama and rupa, right? Without nama and rupa, there can be no jati, jara, and marana. It cannot, there will be no birth, no aging, and no dying. So this jati and jara marana is actually referring only to the different stages of nama and rupa. When nama rupa arise, when nama rupa keep changing and aging, and when this nama rupa passes, totally cease and become another nama rupa, no? So here, this jati and jara marana, in ultimate reality, they are only again talking about resultant that arise from the present cause. And what are these? They are the same nama and rupa. So here, vijnana, nama and rupa, salayatana, phassa, and vedana. So we can understand that jati and jara marana, it means the same factors here as the present resultant, right? So it's actually very easy to understand. With the same factors, kilesa and karma from the past, this present resultant nama and rupa arise. Now with this resultant, again, we act with kilesa and we accumulate more karma. Again, the same in the next life, nama and rupa is going to arise again. So here, when we see jati, jara, marana, then we understand it's also again talking about Nama and Jati, Jara, Marana, we're talking about the Nama and Rupa in the future. So here also Vipaka. So these blue ones are the round of resultant, Vipaka Vata. Okay, so here also we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors for the present effects, 5 present effects. And for the future effects, here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we don't count 7 here, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because Jati and Jaramarana is nothing different from Nama and Rupa. They are just the different stages of Nama and Rupa, right? So therefore here we only count these 5. So here we have 5 present effects and there will be 5 future effects here. So we see 5 present causes, 5 present effects, 5 present causes and 5 future effects. So here altogether, there are 20 of them. So it's called the 20 modes. Visati akara. So that's called the 20 modes of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. Okay, up to here, all good? Yes? Not difficult to understand, right? Yeah, all good? Okay. Okay, so let's continue a little bit. Now, in this Paṭiccasamuppāda, we will find 3 connections here. 3 connections. That's called the T Sandhi. T meaning 3, Sandhi meaning connections, combining something together. Now, what are these 3 connections? So these 3 connections are actually these 3 arrows here. The first one, the first link or first connection is between the past causes and the present result. So it's one link here from the past causes, kilesa and karma, to the present vipaka, present resultant. So one link here. And another link is from the present resultant to the present causes. This is second connection. Then we have the third connection here, which is from the present causes to the future effects. So these 3 links is from one life to another, and here in the same lifetime, but from causes to effect, from effect again to causes, and causes to effect. These are called the 3 connections. T Sandhi. Okay, then we have again another layer here to the Paṭiccasamuppāda. We have what is called the 2 roots. If you remember, what are roots? What are the roots? We have got 6 roots, right? So lobha, dosa, and moha, which is a synonym. Moha is synonym with avijja, and lobha is synonym with tanha. No? And then we also have alobha, adosa, and amoha. But here we only have 2 roots here. What are they? That's avijja and tanha, right? These 2 are called the roots of samsara because they are the chief causes or conditions for the round of rebirth to go on and on and on. That's because of avijja and tanha. Then we stayed rolling in samsara, turning around and around. Now, here, if we take a look at the first part of the cause and effect, the past cause and the present result, here we can see that here avijja is the leading factor here. So avijja is mentioned as a leading factor, is mentioned as a leading factor from the past to the present. So avijja paccaya sankhara, right? And if we look at the second half, which is the present cause to the future result, now we see here tanha is the chief. Tanha is the leading factor. Now, our teacher, he gives a very good example, and he said why avijja is the chief cause in the past and why tanha is the chief cause in the present. Why not reverse, vice versa, or like why is it in this way? So Sayadaw-ji, he gave a result. He said, let's say for a person in the beginning, he doesn't know what is good and what is bad. So his friends invite him to a party and say, oh, try these drugs. They are really good. Like, well, if you take it, you're going to be you're going to forget about all your troubles and you're going to be very happy. So because of avijja, because he doesn't know, what this drug is going to do. So because of avijja, he said, okay, maybe I'll try. So this person, he takes the drugs, right? So, okay, so that's because of avijja, he started. Later on, he already know what this drug does. He knows that it is not good for him. He knows that it is bad, but because he's addicted to it, then he continues taking it. Now, so this time is not because of avijja. He already know what it is, but because of tanha, because of craving, because of attachment. So in this case, that is the second part. That's not because of ignorance anymore. That's because of tanha. So tanha is leading, is the leading factor. So in the same way, just like this example, in the very beginning, avijja is the leading or the main or the chief cause. Then later on, tanha become the chief cause. So these two, they are very important factors because they are the factors that keeps us in samsara. There's also another example that Sayadaw gives. He says that avijja is like something that blindfold us. So avijja blindfold us and bring us to the cliff, to some place very dangerous. And avijja give us a tanha, and tanha gives us a push. So that's avijja and tanha. So avijja, because of ignorance brings us to doing all kinds of different good and bad deeds. And because of tanha, then we give us an extra push, and then we roll on into a new life again. So again and again and again. Okay, so that's how this two main factors, the avijja and tanha, these two roots are keeping us in samsara, and therefore they are called also called in Pali the vata mula, the roots of the rounds of the rounds. Okay, so that's about the two roots, dvimulani. So we have avijja here together with tanha, of course, but avijja here is the leading cause in the past, and in the present, tanha is the leading cause together with avijja, right? Okay, so this is the kilesa vata working together with karma, creating vipaka. Yes, Amar?
So the third root, the dvesa, doesn't come into picture, or where does
which one, sorry?
Dvesa, dosa.
Dosa. No, it's not included here, but of course, when we say kilesa, is not only avijja and tanha, right? Dosa is also there, right? But because remember that this Paṭiccasamuppāda, it explains the existence of all kinds of beings in samsara. So there are sometimes some beings that does not have dosa. For example, the Brahma in the Brahma world, the dosa does not arise in them, but avijja and tanha still arise in them. So for someone or any being to stay in the round of samsara again, turning around again and again, avijja and tanha, they are the main causes. Dosa can be there or can be not there for some beings. No, for human, yeah, surely I think dosa is always there. It's also together. It's also included in the kilesa. But for example, when we think about the Brahma beings, then there is no dosa for them. Therefore, it's not included here. Is that okay,
So
Amma?
yeah, it's okay. Can we then imply that dosa is part in the tanha section?
In the kilesa section, we can think for
imply,
human beings.
right, right, okay.
Yeah, for human being. But because Paṭiccasamuppāda also explain lives of other beings, so for some beings, there are not no dosa for them. Yes, Claudia?
Hi, I just remember that last time you mentioned something like that after Vedana there is any reaction, so like a Sankara. Because of Vedana we act upon our feeling. So I don't really understand why there is not the link, even though like during life, like I noticed that if there is an emotion, then I tend to act in some way. I don't know if I understood
Yes.
well
now,
or not.
Here, because of Vedana, because of mental feeling, right? Because of mental feeling, then we act. Yeah, that's what you are saying, right, Claudia? Yes, sure, of course, we act. Now, if there is a pleasant feeling, or we have some kind of pleasant object, we want more. We want that to stay, or we want more of that. Yeah, so that's craving. That's craving. Yeah, so we act with what we act with craving. Yeah, so if there is something unpleasant, we're talking about usually, right? Usually. So when there is something unpleasant, and what happened? Then we want it to be different. We want something else. We want that to finish, right? So again, we act with what? We act with craving, tanha. We're wishing something else. So here, Vedana directly, the direct link is Vedana Paccaya Tanha, where Vedana, because there is Vedana as a condition, then Tanha, craving arise. Now, this craving, although it is said craving here, but this karma, it's if we act with craving, actually this craving cannot arise alone. No, so when there is craving, it's already karma. Yeah, we're already creating some kind of akusala karma. No, here if it is craving. Yeah, but sometimes we can also act wisely. Yeah, when we act wisely, we are also creating karma. We are also doing something just without tanha, right? So anyway, as you said, whatever it may be, because there is mental feeling, we always act, we always do something. But the direct link here is, but we can understand tanha is also karma. Yeah. So it's actually this part, kilesa and karma, for causes, for it to be causes for future vipaka to arise, they always work together, kilesa and karma. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I understand it.
Okay, so now we have seen almost everything of the Bhavacakka. There is only the final little point here. Now you see here, avijja paccaya sankhara, the first link is ignorance, right? So here is the starting point. Yeah, it's the starting point of the wheel of life, right? So avijja paccaya sankhara, ignorance, because there is ignorance as conditioned, then we do all kinds of different actions, no? Different wholesome and unwholesome actions. Now, if avijja is the first starting point here, so what is the causes? What are the conditions for avijja? There must be cause also, because nothing just arises without any cause, right? So there must be also cause for avijja. So what are the conditions and causes for avijja to arise in the first place? Last week, we have also mentioned about that. What is the cause or condition for avijja to arise? And then Bruce also, he mentioned that it is our asavas, not the asavas. Okay, if you still remember the asavas, we have talked about this in chapter 7. Asavas, just as a reminder, is translated as taints, cankers, flux, oozing, or corruption. So those are the cankers that have long been with us. Sometimes it is described like an intoxicating drink or fermented drink that has been with us for a long, long time. Or it is also sometimes described as like blood or pus flowing out from a sore, something disgusting, something flowing out, no? So those are the asavas. And in ultimate reality, these cankers or taints or asavas, what are they? So we have 4 kinds. We have kama-sava, the canker of attachment to sense desire. Bhava-sava, canker of attachment to continued existence. Or the attachment to, or attachment together with the wrong view that things are permanent, no? Then we have ditti-sava, the canker of wrong view, and avijja-sava, canker of ignorance. So these 4 in ultimate reality is lobha and ditti, and of course ignorance as well. So we have kama-sava, bhava-sava, ditta-sava, avijja-sava. These 4 are called the asavas. Now, when we come to jati, jara, marana, the end of the 12 links, so old age and sickness and old age and death and all this, when we are oppressed by jara and marana, aging and death, then we experience soka, parideva, dukkha, domana, supasaya, no? So all this despair, frustration, all these things. So because of aging and death, then we start experiencing all this unhappiness, despair, and then we thought, oh, I was once very healthy. I wish I was healthy, and I was very beautiful when I was young. Then now I'm getting old. I'm weak, and I don't see well. I don't hear well. It's painful here. It's painful there. So because of all these conditions, then the asavas are very much easier to arise in us. Because we want to have better sense pleasure, and then we have wrong view again. We wish that this is better, this is forever, and then we don't like the way it is now. So Sayadaw explained that because of this condition, asavas easily arise in us. So with these asavas, then again it contributes to more ignorance. So that's the beginning or the conditions for avijja, for ignorance to arise. So here, because of this, now the turn goes around and around and around and around and around to jati, jara, marana. Because jara, marana, and there are, because of all these conditions, then more asavas arise. And these asavas, again, it becomes the supporting condition for avijja. So in this way, it keeps turning around and around and around. So that's all the details in brief for the Paṭiccasamuppāda. So let's take a look of all the points that we have looked at with this graphic. We have looked at the 12 factors, the dwasa angani, which are the 12 links. Then we have looked at the time frame, past, present, and future. Then we have looked at the 20 modes. The 20 modes are the 5 past causes, 5 present effects, 5 present causes, and 5 future effects. Those are called the 20 modes. And then we have the 3 junction points, the 3 sandhi, from the past cause to the present result, from the present result to the present causes, then from the present causes to the future results. So that's the 3 junction points. And then we have the 4 groups. What are the 4 groups? The past cause, present effect, present cause, and future effect. And we have the 3 rounds. Those are the kilesavata, the round of defilements, kamavata, the round of karma, meaning sankhara and bhava together. No, those are karma. Then we have vipakavata, that's the nama and rupa, the resultant. And then we have the 2 roots, avijja and tanha. So all these are the other layers that we need to understand in the Paṭiccasamuppāda. Okay, so with this, we have briefly talked about the different layers of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. But now, here, the important point is what to do about it, no? How to come out from this round and round of the samsara. Okay, let's see. For the past causes, anything we can do about it? All right, can't do anything. Past causes is already done. There's nothing we can do about it. How about present effect? Can we do anything? Also, we can't do anything because causes are already made, so results are bound to happen, and present effects are already happening with this nama and rupa here, so there is nothing that we can do about it. But here is the point. Here's the point. That's where we can stop. What is it? The present causes, right? Present causes. Because here is what we are going to do right now. We can do something about it, no? Future effects, whether the future effects arise or not, depends on whether we plant the present causes or not, right? So here, if we want to stop, we need to stop here. There is no other point in this round, in this Paṭiccasamuppāda, that the link can be broken. No, it's only here in this point, the present, from this connection, from the present effects to the present causes. That's where we need to stop. But how? how do we stop? What do we need to do? Now
We
you
need
see,
to remain equanimous.
remain equanimous. That's right. That's very nice. Thank you, Claudia. Yeah. Now you see, causes, they are always, we said the kilesa and karma, they must work together. They must work together. For a new life to arise, there must be kilesa and karma together. Now, karma, can we stop karma? We can't, because we are not enlightened yet. Whatever we do, even we do wholesome deeds, still we create karma, right? So even if here, because of the Vedana, we do not act with craving. We act with wisdom. Let's say we're still creating good karma, right? So karma cannot be stopped. There is no way that we can stop karma. But what we do can stop is kilesa, right? Because there must be karma and kilesa working together in order to create a future effect, in order to create a new life. So if we cannot stop karma, although we cannot stop karma, we can stop kilesa. So by eradicating all kinds of kilesas, that's how we're breaking the link. If we do a lot of, if we continue to practice vipassana meditation, vipassana practice is also kusala karma, no? So we're still creating karma. So what we are destroying here is only the kilesas, right? So what needs to be done are the total eradication of all kinds of kilesas, all kinds of defilements, headed by avijja and tanha. So that's how the link is can be broken, and that is actually the exit of samsara. When all kinds of defilements are being eradicated, then a person becomes a noble being, no, an enlightened being. Then an arahant, who does not have any more kilesas, no more kilesas, then also he or she will not create any karma anymore. All that person, the arahant, does. They are kriya, no? They are only functional. So no more kilesa, no more karma. There won't be any future effects anymore. So that's the exit. And that exit is the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the way to leading to the total eradication of avijja and tanha. So here is the exit. Okay, so this is important. This is the very, very important point about the Paṭiccasamuppāda. This is the only place where we can do something about it to see if we still create more future effects or not. That's here. Okay, so far we have seen the details of the Paṭiccasamuppāda, and in the last week, we have seen the order of the arising, the anuloma. Avijja paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya vijnana, vijnana paccaya nama rupa, nama rupa paccaya salayatana, salayatana paccaya phaso, phassa paccaya vedana, vedana paccaya tanha, tanha paccaya upadana, upadana paccaya bhavo, bhava paccaya jati, jati paccaya jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domana, supasaya, sambhavanti. Eva metasa kevalasa dukkha kandasa samudaya hoti. This is how, because of all this is how the whole mass of suffering arise. But now we need to see the order of cessation. And the order of cessation starts with avijjaya tveva asesa viraga nirodha sankara nirodho. Here, asesa means entire or all without remaining, or viraga is the absence of desire. So avijjaya tveva asesa viraga nirodha, with the total cessation of avijja and tanha here, no? The total cessation without remaining anything, the entire cessation of avijja and tanha, sankara nirodho, the cessation of sankara here, meaning karma, sankara will cease, So no more avijja and tanha, sankara also cease. Then what's next? Sankara nirodha, vijnana nirodho. When there is no more wholesome and unwholesome actions, then new Patisandhi Vijnana will not arise. That would Vijnana also cease. Then Vijnana Nirodha, Nama Rupa Nirodho. Without Vijnana, without consciousness, Nama and Rupa will not arise. Nama Rupa Nirodha, Salayatana Nirodho. There is no mind and matter. 6 bases also cease. Salayatana Nirodha, Phassa Nirodho. Without 6 bases, contact will cease. Phassa Nirodha, Vedana Nirodho. Without contact, there is no mental feeling. Vedana Nirodha, Tanha Nirodho. Without mental feeling, Tanha cease. Tanha Nirodha, Upadana Nirodho. Without Tanha, without craving, grasping also cease. Upadana Nirodha, Bhava Nirodho. No more grasping, and no more becoming. Bhava Nirodha, Jati Nirodho. There is no more becoming, there is no more birth. Jati Nirodha, Jara Maranam, Sokha Paridewa, Dukkha Domana Supasaya Nirujanti. Birth, without birth, with the ceasing of birth, old age and death, despair, the mental and physical pain, and all this also will cease. Evam me tassa kevalasa dukkha khandasa nirodho hoti. That is how the entire mass of suffering cease. So that's the order of cessation in Pali, the patiloma of the Paṭiccasamuppāda. So we see how they arise and we see how they cease. With the cessation of avijja, sankhara cease. With the cessation of sankhara, all the no more causes, then all this also they cannot arise. All this will cease. Without phassa vedana, and then also tanha cannot arise. So without all this, without one, the other one also will cease. So the total eradication of avijja and tanha is the point here, is the main point here. Okay, so far we have already taken a brief look of the Paṭiccasamuppāda together with a little bit more details of each factor, as well as the different layers to this Bhavacakka. So this wheel of life, this graphic, I think is very nice because it has all the little details of the about the Paṭiccasamuppāda for a little bit deeper understanding. So I encourage you to keep this graphic, and later on I will send a PDF of this graphic to the group as well, so you can have it, and we can look at it and to contemplate again on the arising and the cessation of the 12 factors and hence samsara. Okay, so far we have already finished the section on Paṭiccasamuppāda. Congratulations, everyone. Okay, so any question here?
So even the arising of, let's say, wisdom is dependent on some vipaka kamma, maybe, right? Like the tending towards future wisdom or something might be related to past karma, because that also should have like causes, you know.
You mean does the arising of wisdom depend on past karma? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a very good question, because that we will find the answer in the Paṭṭhāna. That is where we're going next. That's the causal relation. No? So there are 24 conditions of how things arise. So there we will find the condition. We will find the answer. Now, just briefly, I will give a brief answer to this. We cannot say that there is a direct cause from the past. There can be some conditions for the to help wisdom to arise, but those are not direct causes, So those can be conditions that support, but wisdom itself is a cause, right? So it is not a resultant, it's not a vipaka. So it does not depend on past karma for the future wisdom to arise in terms of direct cause. But there are, of course, some kinds of supportive conditions. Say, for example, we are born as a human, let's say, then we are here, we have teachers, and we still have the Buddha's teaching is still available. That's also because of our good karma. No, if there is no good karma, we might not be able to get in contact with the teaching in this life. So those are conditions that help us, give us conditions for the arising of wisdom. But in the times of the Buddha, there are also many suttas that mention that even there are good conditions, if we don't put an effort, if we don't practice, those wisdom will not arise. We have the good condition, but only the good condition is not good enough. We need to do something here. So that doing part is also very important. The viriya, the putting in the effort, the wanting, the kusala chanda, the will to do, which is wholesome, or the wanting and the willingness of wanting to practice. Those are also very important important factors for wisdom to arise. And of course, also we need yoniso manasikara, all kinds of wholesome deeds. Depends on yoniso manasikara also. So there are many conditions, but karma only provide a good condition for us to, let's say, have a better environment to put effort, etc. Now that I remember, there was one story or one instance in the time of the Buddha that at the same time, 4 persons came to see the Buddha. And then the Buddha gave a discourse to this 4 persons. But one person was listening to the Buddha, but he wasn't actually listening, he was sleeping. And another person, he was grasping a branch in the tree and just like shaking and just doing different kinds of stuff, but not really paying attention to the Buddha. And another person, he was looking at the earth and the ground, and then he was drawing circle on the earth. And then there was another person, he was very attentively listening to the Buddha. So the 4 persons, they all have the good karma, the good condition for them to meet the Buddha, imagine. But the quality of these persons, they are different. The 3 of them, although they have the condition to meet the Buddha, but the wisdom did not arise. They did not have the previous quality that were cultivated or the present effort to listen or to practice for them to get enlightened in that lifetime. But one person did. So those past conditions give conditions. And also in the past, although it is not called karma, it is called a very strong support. And that Upanisaya, which we are going to look at in the Paṭṭhāna, that's very strong support. Those are the quality that we have cultivated in past life. And those quality also comes in as a force to help for present wisdom to arise. Well, so far it's just like a briefly, I give an answer to this question, but later when we are going to the Paṭṭhāna, then there will be more information on that. Is that good enough for now, Austin?
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, Edith.
I've been just contemplating about the exit link, right, in the present life. I feel like on the graphic, Tanha is the most prominent, but in reality, I think Avijja is more prominent. So you have to grow in wisdom in order to let go of Tanha, right? The craving, and not vice versa, meaning so you can't let go of Tanha first and then grow with wisdom, growing wisdom or something like that.
Now, remember that avijja, moha, is a universal akusala cetasika, no? It's always there. So although we say craving, then avijja, they are together. They must work together. Craving does not arise alone, right? So craving always arises together with moha, with avijja. They are always together. So when we cultivate wisdom, wisdom do not only eradicate moha, it eradicates all kinds of defilements. So that include also moha, also lobha, also dosa, also ditthi, all kinds of right. So cultivating wisdom because of understanding, then we understand that it is not necessary to attached or to be attached to something or to crave for something, because at the end, when what is actually there is just only nama rupa, is only a process. Then with those understanding, then we also eradicate wrong view of a self, and also we eradicate the passion or the grasping towards whatever it may be, so attachment. No, so craving, wisdom, it eradicates all defilements. So it is necessary to cultivate wisdom, not only because of moha, but because of everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I'm just a little confused about like how would I don't know, stopping craving or would help in the situation.
How stopping craving would help come out from samsara?
Yes.
Because craving is the main cause. Craving and moha, these two, they work together. They are the main cause of our rolling in samsara.
So how would stopping or restraining basically would help your wisdom, basically? Or I understand that you are saying that they are together, which is very, very true. But I can only understand that if you understand and your wisdom is there, then obviously all lobha is eradicated or diminished or reduced. But vice versa, I don't see how it can happen. How reducing craving or by force, I guess, would help wisdom.
By force, why would you say by force? It should be by understanding.
Yes, exactly.
wisdom, right?
Exactly my point. Yes.
Maybe we are now thinking of craving as very gross kind of craving. You know, let's say craving for food or craving for new clothes or craving for money or whatever. Maybe we are thinking of this kind of craving. But remember, lobha, it's much more, it can be much, much, much more subtle than that. Ditthi is also craving, wrong view, just attachment to this I, me, or mine, or still thinking this five aggregate is me. That's also craving. That's also lobha. That's also ditthi, it's in the lobha group. So those kinds of very subtle craving, they are very powerful. So don't think that craving is nothing. I can just, suppress it or whatever. But those very, very deep-rooted craving, or we call it craving or lobha, like a big word, but it can go really, really subtle. As wrong view or this attachment to the self, or even attachment to existence, attachment to life, right? So that's those kinds of craving that also needs to be eradicated. Yes, Austin?
No, just taking up from Edith's question, basically it's possible in some periods of time to not have craving, but to have ignorance still present. Like if you're in an absorption stage or something, maybe at that point there is no craving, but there is the potential of ignorance. And so, essentially from whatever I understood is that if we have to exit the whole circle, then the cause of craving, like ignorance itself has to be eliminated. If you just eliminate craving, then maybe you'll not suffer, but the exit is from samsara might not happen. That's kind of my understanding.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the defilements that are being eradicated in different kinds, the different stage of enlightenment, you will see that the sense desire, all those are gone earlier, right? Then it is possible without those kinds of craving. But the mana, that's also Lobha group, no? It goes only in the last stage, in the very last stage, until a person attain arahathood. Until then, it's not gone. So it's basically they are gone together. They are not gone one before the other. So in the very Arahata Magga eradicate both the most subtle craving and ignorance at the same time together. So craving, all kinds of subtle craving is not eradicated before. So when it is gone, both of them are gone together, not one before another. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So any more questions at this point? All good? So let's take 5 minutes break and we will see how is the energy of everyone. If we want to stay contemplating about the Bhavacakka, then we can do that. Or if you are okay, or you think that you still have some space in the mind that we can go to Paṭṭhāna and have a little introduction for that. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes break first. Okay, see you in 5 minutes. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Want to continue a little bit? All right. So in this case, we will go on to Paṭṭhāna. Paṭṭhāna in English translated as conditionality. So different. Now it's not just only the 12 factors, called one factor linked to another, one factor linked to another, but there are more conditions that will be explained in this section. Okay, so I think today we will do a little introduction. We will not go into much detail, otherwise it will be maybe too much. So we'll see how far we can go, and then we'll see where it's a good place that we all think that it's good enough, and then we will stop there. Okay. All right. So in chapter 8, this chapter of the Abhidhamma Sangha, it's all about cause and effect, actually, mostly. So we have already seen the first part, the cause and effect of Paṭiccasamuppāda. And then the next one, the Paṭṭhāna, is also about cause and effect. So in Paṭiccasamuppāda, we have already seen these two words, paccaya and paccayuppāna, right? So paccaya are the conditioning states, which can be cause or condition, and paccayuppāna are the conditioned states. So in other words, the effect, something that are being conditioned by the paccaya, by some other things, right? So in Paṭiccasamuppāda, we have already seen these conditions, conditioning states and the conditioned states. Now in the Paṭṭhāna, there is one more very important item that we need to add here in this equation. That's called the paccaya sati, the conditioning force, or in other words, the relationship. Paccaya sati is the relationship between the cause and the effect. So in other words, it's like how this is related to this. No, now, how this one is how these two things are related, then there can be many kinds of different conditioning forces, like different kind of relationship these two can have. For example, let's see, these seeds and these plants, although it's the same, like same conditioning and same conditioning states and same conditioned states here, but it can be related by way of, say, DNA, right? So because of this, let's say, orange seeds, it will not give bananas, right? So they are related in a way, So these are the conditioning force here. Now, if we change the conditioning state, let's say the sun, it's also related to these plants, but the relationship also here, it changes. So the sun here is related to these plants, maybe by heat or by energy, So these different causes and different conditions can relate to the effects in different ways. Even the same condition can also relate to the effects in different ways sometimes. So here in the Paṭṭhāna, we talk not only about the cause and effect, but also how they relate to each other by way of or by means of what kind of conditioning force or by means of what kind of relationship also. So in ultimate reality, in the Paccaya side, the conditioning side, we can have Nama and Rupa, so Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, as well as Nibbana and concept also. So all these, basically everything, everything can be a conditioning state, can be a cause or condition for something else. Now, in the Paccayopana side, in the conditioned side or the effect side, here we have Chitta, Cetasika, and Rupa. As we all know, Nibbana is not conditioned by anything. No, it's unconditioned. So in the effect or Paccayopana side, we do not find Nibbana. And concept itself, concept is not an ultimate reality. So it is said that it is not conditioned by anything. So we cannot also include it in the conditioned states also. So we see in the Paccayopana side, we only have Chitta, Cetasika, and Rupa. Now about the relationship, in the Paṭṭhāna, 24 causes, 24 kinds of relationship or conditions are introduced in the Paṭṭhāna, which is the 7th book of the Abhidhamma, of the Abhidhamma books itself. Now, sometimes we may think only 24? Only 24 causes, because this Paṭṭhāna, it actually explains everything. It explains everything in this universe, how everything is related to each other. It explains everything. But how come there's only 24 causes for every single thing? That seems like very little. But the fact is that these 24 causes, they goes in combination. So it's not only one cause for one condition. So these causes and conditions, they go, these 24 conditions, they go in combination. So if we consider the combinations or the possibilities also, then it becomes a lot of possibilities of how these 24 can combine with each other, right? Okay, so here, important thing, Paccaya, Paccayopana, and Paccayasati. So let's try to remember these few Pali words, because later on we will use them quite a lot. Paccaya, meaning the conditioning states, those states that are caused or conditioned for something else. It causes or conditioned something else. So Paccayopana are the conditioned states or effects. So something that are being conditioned by other things. And the Paccayasati, the sati here is not the mindfulness sati. You see S-A-T-T-I, this double T here. This sati here means force. So this conditioning force, like all, in simple terms, the relationship between this cause and the effect. Now, in the Paṭiccasamuppāda, dependent origination, we have seen that one link to the other. So we see the Paccaya and then we see the Paccayopana. So avijja, paccaya, sankhara. So avijja is the conditioning state and the Paccayopana is the conditioned states. So in the Paṭiccasamuppāda, it states that A is related to B, right? So this person is related to this person, right? But it does not state how. It does not say how they are related. It's just say that these two, A and B, are related, right? But in Paṭṭhāna, the causal relations or conditionality, it also explained not only the Paccaya and Paccayopana, but also how they are related. So it says that Paṭṭhāna explains that A and B are related as well as their relationship. So here, they are related by way of father and son, let's say. So this relationship, it's what is called by Paṭiccasamuppāda, the relationship here, Paṭiccasamuppāda, the conditioning force. Okay. So for the Paṭicca side, concerning cause and effect, we have to know three things, right? The conditioning states, the Paṭiccasamuppāda, conditioned states, and the Paṭiccasamuppāda, conditioning force relationship. Three things. Now, concerning the Paṭicca, we have three kinds of Paṭicca or conditions. Some conditions or causes directly produce some other things. They are called the productive cause or the producing cause. No, so some of them they produce some other thing. So this kind of causes, and there are some other kind of cause or condition that support something that is existing at that moment. So say these seeds, they produce the plant, no, directly produce the plants. But then the soil is also a cause and condition for this plant to grow. But the soil itself does not produce the plant directly, right? But it supports those plants that are already existing at that moment. So this kind of supporting is also called a condition. And sometimes there are some other cause or conditions that maintain what is there, just like water for these plants. The plants are already there. It does not directly produce it, but it helps, it supports something that is already there. It maintains it. So there are these three different ways of being a cause or conditioned for the conditioned states. Okay. So here in the Paṭiccasamuppāda, we have 24 kinds of Paṭiccasamuppāda explained in the Paṭṭhāna. So let's today we can have a very brief look of the 24 kinds. What are they? And then next session we will go into more details to explain each kind of condition or relationship, how they work. Yeah. Okay, so just let's take a look at what these 24 kinds are. The first one is called the root condition. Now, root, we are already quite familiar with them. We have saw them in the previous chapters, the hetus, the roots. So, loba, dosa, moha, aloba, adosa, amoha, right? The 6 roots. So these 6 roots are the first Paṭicca. So that's the root condition. It's called root condition, hetu paṭicca. So what this root does is that the Paṭicca, the conditioning forces, the Paṭicca fortifies or strengthens the Paṭiccasamuppāda. So the Paṭicca here are the 6 roots. So these 6 roots, they fortified or strengthened their conditioned states. So this is called a root condition. That's the first type of the first Paṭṭhāna. The first Paṭiccasamuppāda, hetu paṭicca. Later on, next week, we'll go into details and to see under this condition, what ultimate reality is included in the Paṭicca side and what kind of ultimate reality is included in the Paṭiccasamuppāda side. So this 6 root, it fortifies or strengthens what? No? So later on, we will see in details. Now we'll just go through to see what are these 24 types only. Yes, Claudia?
Sorry, just a quick question. So like we study the present and also the absence of these 24 condition.
The presence and
correct?
absence. What do you mean
And
by
also the absence, like if some condition is not present, then something else is the result of it, right?
In this way of study, we will look at in each condition. Let's say in the root condition, what are the Paṭicca, or say that means what are the conditioning states under this condition, under this relationship, and what are being conditioned by these roots, let's say. So with the absence, you mean that without roots, let's say, there are something that have roots, no?
No, because when you say roots, my thinking was about Nibbana. So because of the absence of the roots, of Lobha, Moha, then Nibbana arise. For this reason, I just asked
it's
this
not
question.
only Lobha, Dosa, and Moha, it's also Alobha, Adosa, and Amoha.
That's right, yes.
Non-greed, non-hatred, and wisdom also, that's also necessary, right?
That's right, yes. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. When we go into details, that when we see what are the Paccaya and what are the Paccaya-uppanas under this conditioning force, then things will become more clear, because now it's just an introduction of which 24 forces are there only. Yeah, so maybe today it might not be very clear in the first glance, but later on with details it will get better. Okay, so let's see the second one. The second one is called object condition, Aramana-Paccayo. So Aramana-Paccayo, this object condition, it happens all the time. As we know that all kind of chitta, all kind of consciousness must take some kind of object, no? So this object was the condition for these chittas to arise, right? So this object conditioned is called Aramana-Paccayo. In the Paccaya side, the Paccaya is actually the object of the Paccaya-uppana. So let's say visible object or rupa is a conditioning state for I consciousness to arise, right? So here, this object, visible object, is the Paccaya, and the Paccaya-uppana will be the I consciousness together with its Cetasika and so on. No? So in this way, we will see how these objects are conditioned for what. No? So later on, we will look at it in details. Well, without a visible object, eye consciousness cannot arise. Without sound, ear consciousness cannot arise. So this object condition is also very important, a very important condition for consciousness to arise. Okay, so that's Aramana-Paccayo. Let's go to the third one. The third one is called Adipati-Paccayo, predominance conditioned. Now, in chapter 7, we have seen that this adipati, this predominance, the simile of it is like it's like the king, no? The king governs over the whole kingdom, no? So this Paccaya, it predominates its Paccaya-uppana. So this is the kind of relationship between the Paccaya and the Paccaya-uppana, this predominance conditioned. So what are the adipati? Just as a reminder, we have Chanda adipati, the will to do, predominance, Chitta adipati, the consciousness itself as the predominance, Viriya adipati, effort as predominance, and Vimamsa adipati. Vimamsa is the synonym in this case with wisdom, no, panya, no? So wisdom as the predominance. So to understand the Paṭṭhāna, we need to refresh our memory of what we have saw in chapter 7. That comes in handy later on, because we have Indriya, we have Adipati, those items that we have already looked at in chapter 7 will come up again, right? So this is the third one, predominance conditioned, Adipati-Paccayo. Let's go to the next one. The next one is called proximity conditioned, Anantara-Paccayo. Now, if you remember the mental process, one chitta arises after another and after another and after another, no? So this Anantara-Paccayo, it only applies to chittas, actually. So it is here, this condition is talking about each chittas, how they arise very close to each other. So after one chitta arises, it ceases, and then another chitta arises, and then it ceases. So the main point here, the Buddha explained this to make sure that we understand that after the arising and ceasing of one chitta, there is nothing in between. Well, there is nothing in between two chittas, let's say. So one arises and passes away immediately after that. Another chitta will arise and then it passes. So one after the other, one after the other. They arise in very close together, adjunct or proximate to each other. So this is the condition for how chitta arise. One arise, and then there is nothing in between them. Then immediately another one arise, passes, another arise, another arise. So this applies to the mental process from chittas. Now the next one is called samanantara paccaya, contiguity conditioned. Now, sometimes in the Paṭṭhāna, within these 24 conditions, you will find that some of them are kind of a repetition. So this anantara and the samanantara, they actually are basically the same. But it means here the paccaya is very closely adjunct to, very closely proximate to the paccayuppāna. It's actually talking about the same thing. But sometimes in the times of the Buddha, there are people who understand the Dhamma with different wordings or with different way of saying it. So because it is such an important point here that one arises just right after the other, then the Buddha again repeat this condition, anantara, to be samanantara, that it is really very, very close to each other, like that. So basically, we can understand anantara and samanantara, they are paccaya and paccayuppāna, they are actually the same. So very closely, it arises one after the other. Okay, now later on in detail, we will see, for example, right after the receiving consciousness, then investigation consciousness will arise. No, it is the one that arises just right after it. So after receiving consciousness, jhāvana will not arise, for example. That's the law of nature. No, so because of this anantara and samanantara conditioned, there is like a rule or a law of how this chitta arise one after the other, what comes after what, like that. So this is that kind of condition that governs what chitta arise after each type of chittas, right? Okay, that's the fifth one. Then we go to the sixth. The sixth one is called connaissance condition, sahajata paccaya. Sahajata, saha means together, jata or jati means the arising or born. So they born together or they arise together. And sometimes it's translated as connaissance condition, something that arise together. So the paccaya and the paccayuppāna, they arise together. For example, during patisandhi time, the patisandhi chitta, vipaka chitta, always arise together with the cetasikas, the associated cetasikas, and at this time, also together with the kamaja rupa, no? So all these three, they arise together at the same time. So this sahajata, this connaissance, conditioned, are those, the paccaya, the conditioning state, and the conditioned state, they arise at the same time. So they are related in this way, they arise together. The next one is called mutuality condition. So anyamanya paccaya. That means the paccaya and the paccayuppāna, they are reciprocates with each other. So they are mutually support each other. They're mutually together. For example, chitta and cetasika, they are reciprocal to each other. They mutually support each other. They always arise together also, no? So sahajata. Now, sometimes these conditions, they comes in group also. Sahajata and anyamanya, they can come together. Sahajata, anyamanya. So chitta, for example, chitta and cetasika, they mutually support each other and they also bond together, no? So they are of these two groups also. So they arise together, they mutually support each other, they cease together at the same time. Another example would be the four primary elements. They also mutually support each other. So this is the anyamanya paccaya, mutuality condition. The next one is called the dependence condition, nisaya paccaya. That means the paccaya supports the paccayuppāna. Now, in the previous link, in the seventh one, the mutuality one support each other. The chitta supports the cettasika and the cettasika supports the chitta. right? They mutually support each other. But in this one, there's only like a one-sided support. So one side, the Paccaya supports the Paccayuppāna, or in other words, the Paccayuppāna depends on the Paccaya. Is that clear? I'll say this again. So the Paccaya supports the Paccayuppāna, but the Paccayuppāna does not support in return, does not support back the Paccaya here. So the Paccayuppāna depends on the Paccaya. The Paccayuppāna depends on the Paccaya. So an example would be like children, the existence of the children depends on the parents, right? But so the parents support the children for their existence, but the parents' existence do not depend on the children, right? So in this way, it is a one-sided dependence condition, or the Nisaya Paccaya, or the support condition, right? So parents support the existence of the children, but the children is not a support for the existence of the parents, let's say. Okay, so this is how this dependent condition works, Nisaya. Later, we'll go into details also. The next one is called intense support condition, Upanisaya Paccaya. Now, this intense support condition means that the Paccaya gives a foundational support, a very strong or intense support for the Paccayuppāna. So this Upanisaya is actually a very wide range of, there is a lot of, it encompasses a very wide, let's say, area of condition, of this condition. Sometimes, let's say, like Anantara Samanantara, it only refers to the mind, only to the chittas, no? But this intense support condition, Upanisaya, it encompasses a lot of things. Later on, we will see how it works. It's also very interesting. Okay, that's number 9. Let's go to number 10. Number 10 is called the Purejata Paccaya, the pre-nascence condition. Now again, jata jati is to born or arise. Pure here means before. So something that born before, something that are born before, and because of this, it becomes a support for something that born later. So the Paccaya supports the Paccayuppāna by pre-existing before the Paccayuppāna. So something that is already there supports something that has not yet arisen. For example, the eye consciousness. For eye consciousness to arise, we need eye sensitivity. Eye sensitivity must already be there, and the visible object must also be there, right? So these ones, they must already be there before the eye consciousness can arise. So this group falls into the Purejata Paccaya. So without the visible object, then eye consciousness cannot arise. Or without the eye sensitivity, eye consciousness cannot arise. So these things must already exist before eye consciousness arises, right? So that is called the pre-existing or pre-nascence condition, Purejata Paccaya. Okay, so we have seen so far that arise together, sahajata, that they born or arise at the same time, or something that is must exist before for something else to arise later. And then we have another one, which is quite interesting, that is called post-nascence condition, Paccajata Paccaya. Now this time, the Paccaya supports the Paccayuppāna by arising later, by arising after. So post-nascence. So it means that here, for example, in this condition, this person, just as a daily example for easy understanding, no? But later on we'll go into ultimate reality. Now we'll use common or general examples for us to understand. Say this girl here, she cannot sleep all night because she is very excited because she's going to travel to Paris tomorrow. So she's not traveling there yet. That traveling has not arisen yet, but because of something that has not yet arisen, it contributes to her not being able to sleep right now. Yes, so that is called the post-nascent conditioned, paccaya. So the paccaya, the cause here is the traveling, which has not yet arisen, but this thing that has not yet arisen, or it was going to arise after, it's contributing to something that is existing already right now. Her condition of not being able to sleep, let's say, okay? So that's the conditioning, the condition that arise after the condition. The conditioning state arise after the conditioned states. Paccaya arise after Paṭṭhāna. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the next one, number 12. That's called the Asewana Paccaya, repetition condition. So here, this condition, it specifically refers to the jhavanas, to the jhavana moments. So the paccaya causes the recurrence of the paccayopana. Asevana means the repetition or doing something again and again. Yeah. So remember, in the mental processes, then we have jhavana, they arise 7 times. No, so jhavana, 7 times. And in most cases, these jhavanas, they are of the same types of chittas. They are not the same chitta, but the same types of chittas. Say in one mental process, if the first jhavana is kusala, the following 6 ones are also kusala. No? Same types of chitta arise in repetition. So kusala, like 7 times in the same mental process. So it will never be kusala and then in the same mental process cannot be one jhavana is kusala and then the next one akusala and then kusala again, akusala again. They don't mix. No, in the same process, they always the same type. No, kusala, or if it's akusala, then 7 times akusala. No, so this kind of repetition condition is called Asewana Paccaya. When things repeat, they get stronger. They get stronger and stronger. No, so if this jhavana they arise repeatedly for 7 times, that's why they gain strength and become strong, right? So this is called the Asewana Paccaya, repetition condition. Okay, the next one is called the Kamma conditioned, Kamma Paccaya. Now, this paccaya, as karma, produces the paccayopana. Karma produces resultant, right? So paccaya produce paccayopana as karma, or as by way of karma condition. Now remember, many times when we studied in the previous chapter, we always say that karma is important, karma gives result, no? But many times we always think that, oh, after we study this, we say, oh, it is because of karma, oh, this because of karma, this because of karma. We tend to say that everything is because of karma, no? But now we see that karma condition is actually only one of the 24 conditions. So not everything is because of karma. So there can be many other conditions as well. Karma is only one of the 24 conditions. So this is the karma condition that we are talking about here. Paccaya produce paccayopana. So karma produce result, produce vipaka, right? Okay, next one. The next one is called the vipaka paccaya, so resultant conditioned. Now here, this resultant conditioned is the paccaya is mutually related to the paccayopana by way of result. They are both result here. So the conditioned, this conditioned here only concerns resultant consciousness because we are talking about vipaka, not talking about result. In the previous one, the karma one, the paccaya is the karma, the paccayopana is the vipaka, no? So there is cause and there is the effect of karma and vipaka, no? But here in this one, this vipaka paccaya, it's only talking about the mutual relationship between only vipaka chitta, between the vipaka themselves. Okay. Later, now it might sound a little bit now like, Yeah, but yeah, I don't understand, but I don't understand. No, it can sound a little bit like that. But later, when we're doing just only an introduction of what kind of forces or what kind of condition are there, so it's natural that it feels like that. When I first study, also I don't understand by only looking at the title. Later on, when we look into a little bit more detail, then this will make sense. Okay, so just please bear with me at the moment. We're just going through the 24 kinds of conditions. Okay, the next one is called the Ahara Paccaya, nutriment condition. So this one, the Paccaya sustain the Paṭṭhāna. It is the nutriment. It is the nutriment for the Paṭṭhāna. No? So in chapter 7, we have studied ahara, what is meant by ahara. Ahara, of course, it is kavarikaro ahara also, the food that we eat. The food sustain our body. That's easy to understand. So this is under this condition, but also phassa is also a kind of ahara. Cetana is also a kind of ahara, and vijnana itself is also a kind of ahara. So how phassa sustain what, and or cetana, this volition sustain what. So all this also will be included under this condition, and later we will study the paccaya and the paccaya of this condition. Okay, so number 15, ahara paccaya, nutriment conditioned. And then we have number 16 here, faculty condition, indriya paccaya. In this condition, the paccaya is the controlling factor of the paccaya. In chapter 7, we have seen all the different kinds of indriyas. What is indriyas? No, faculties. No, the indriyas are compared to the ministers or the regional chiefs. No, as opposed to the king or the minister. They have authority over their respective department or respective area only. No. So not over everything. The king has governs the everything, the whole kingdom, no. But the ministers, let's say the agriculture minister, he only take care of agriculture, no. And the minister of economy, they only takes care of economy, no. So the faculty, that's the faculty condition in indriya. So say here, ear sensitivity governs only over the hearing, It has nothing to do with the tasting, let's say in this case, no. So this faculty condition means like those paccaya is the controlling factor of those paccaya, the related area. Okay, let's go to number 17, jhana paccaya, jhana condition. Now, this jhana condition, in chapter 7, we have seen that jhana means not only those jhana that one gained through samatha meditation, but jhana means taking up or considering an object in detail, no, like very closely looking at the object, right? So this jhana condition is in this way. So looking at those objects very closely, these jhana factors contemplates on the object very closely. Those are the paccaya, and because of this, they're conditioned. These conditioning states, it relates to some other conditioned states. No? So this is the jhana paccaya here, the 5 jhana factors. Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekaggata. Here is the paccaya, and then it relates to something, it conditions something by looking at the, contemplating at the object very closely. Okay, let's go to number 18th. Path conditioned, magga paccaya. Again, in chapter 7, we see this magga does not only mean the Noble Eightfold Path, but there are more, right? So whatever leads to something, a road, a path, is called a magga. So the paccaya cause the arising of the paccaya. So it leads us into or out of samsara, in other words. So this is the path condition, magga paccaya. Okay, so far we have seen 18th of the Paṭṭhāna. How is everyone? Already overwhelmed? Or still okay? Yeah. Should we stop here and then we continue the introduction next time, or do you want to go through all the 24 of them? We still have how many? 24 minus 18, 6 more to go. What to do? Should we just go through? Yeah? Okay. So let's just quickly go through. Okay, the 19th one is called the Sampayutta Paccaya, association conditioned. So the Paccaya here is associated with the Paccayapāna, just like milk and coffee. When you put them together, they mixed very well. No? So they are associated. They combine very well together. So the Paccaya and the Paccayapāna, they are associated, combined together. Now, in contrast, the number 20th, that's called the dissociation condition, Vipayutta Paccaya. Here, it means that the Paccaya and the Paccayapāna, they do not mix together. They dissociate with each other, just like oil and water. They don't mix. Yeah, so this is the dissociation condition. And the 21st condition is called the Ati-Paccaya, presence conditioned. Now, this is the general example would be like for this diver, as long as there is oxygen, the diver can continue his dive, can continue diving. But when the oxygen is finished, the tank is empty, then his dive cannot continue anymore. So the Paccaya must be present at the same time with the Paccayapāna. So it must be there to support it. Without it, then no more diving. No, the tank is empty, then the diving is finished. And so it must be, the oxygen must be there for something to continue, right? So that's called the Ati-Paccaya, presence condition. While in contrast, the next one is called the absence condition, Nati-Paccaya. Something, the Paccaya must be gone for the Paccayapāna to arise. So in the absence of sound, there can be silence, right? So sound must go absent in order for silence to arise. So the absence of sound support the silence to arise, in a general way of understanding. So for this condition, the Paccaya must be absent at that time for the Paccayapāna to arise. Okay, only two more. Now, the last two is actually very similar, or basically exactly the same as the number 21 and number 22. But again, as I said, sometimes the Buddha explained the things using different words, because some people understand things in just a slightly different nuance or different way of using words. But we can understand that this disappearance condition, the Vigatta Paccaya, is basically the same. Like in the absence of light, darkness arise, right? So that is basically the same as the not being not present. Like the sound, like the without sound, silence can arise. So without light, darkness arise. So it's just the same thing, say in a different way. So Paccaya must disappear or discontinue for the Paccayapāna to arise. So it's saying the same thing in a different way. Again, the number 24, which is the last one, is the non-disappearance condition, Avigatta Paccaya. So that means being there, not disappearing. It's the same. So as long as there is the non-disappearing of the flame, the light is there. So that means light must be present for the flame must be present for light to be there. So in this case, the Paccaya must not disappear in order for the Paccayapāna to continue to exist. So that is the same as the Ati-Paccaya, the same as the being present, as the same as the oxygen for the diver, the same thing, but say it in a different way. One is present, and another one is non-disappearing. So some people understand the presence and some people understand not disappearing, but it's referring to the same facts actually. Okay, so these are the 24 conditions that are included or being taught in the Paṭṭhāna. Yes, Claudia?
This condition must arise alone, or they combine?
They arise,
in order-
in combination sometimes. For example, when I say the Chitta and Cetasika, they mutually support each other and they arise together at the same time. And they must also be atin, or this condition as well. Chitta must not disappear, otherwise Cetasika cannot be. Yeah. So they are in combination, they are in groups.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so I guess that has been a lot of information. And if you are puzzled about these conditions, that's okay, because we are just starting and we're just having a very brief introduction about what these 24 conditions are. Later on, next session, when we go into a little bit more detail, then we will put them into the ultimate realities and see what are the paccayas and what are the paccayupanas and how they relate to each other, and then it will make more sense. But we will also need the previous knowledge from the other previous chapters in order to understand in detail what this Paṭṭhāna is about. Now, just to mention, the Paṭṭhāna is a very, very, very deep study or wisdom that the Buddha explained. When the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, after the attainment of enlightenment, the Buddha spent a whole week in the Bodh Gaya contemplating on the Paṭṭhāna. Now, the Buddha contemplated also on the Paṭiccasamuppāda and other things, but when the Buddha contemplated on the Paṭṭhāna, it is said that the Buddha's wisdom is so big and so wide and so deep that it is said that when the Buddha starts contemplating on the Paṭṭhāna, his wisdom feels like a well that is being released into the open ocean. So the Buddha's wisdom is free to roam about in the open ocean, and the open ocean is the Paṭṭhāna. And the Buddha's wisdom is like the well and can go freely, swim freely. He felt free, but all the other things are still limited. Like the Buddha's wisdom, imagine when he is contemplating on other things, that it feels like the well is inside like a swimming pool. So this is like a small thing for the well, no? But for the Paṭṭhāna, when he contemplates on that, then he felt that freedom, the wisdom can go so wide and so free to contemplate. And also these lights, different kinds of colors of light emitted from his body at that time. He is so glad about contemplating on this Paṭṭhāna. And so Paṭṭhāna is very, very deep because it explains all the conditions of every single thing in the universe, in the whole universe, how things are related, how things of the cause and effect of everything, no? So it is a very, very deep study. So we will only, very honestly, we'll only touch on the very surface. It's a very superficial, trying to understand a little bit of this Paṭṭhāna. But later on, slowly, with a little bit of introduction, then we can study more and more. In the Paṭṭhāna, in the 7th book of the Abhidhamma, a very, very big portion of the Abhidhamma is the Paṭṭhāna. I think it's about 2,800 pages explaining about in the Paṭṭhāna, in the Abhidhamma Piṭaka. So very big part is about the Paṭṭhāna, so it's very deep and very interesting as well. So if you're interested later on with this introduction, then we can go into deeper study later on. Okay, so that has been a lot to digest today, so we'll stop here. And next week, we will continue with a bit more details on each of the conditions. Let's close Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. It has been a lot of information today, so I hope you will have some time to digest the information and to contemplate on the very important Paṭiccasamuppāda, which is the explanation of the samsara. So important information. All right, so let's close by reciting together. Let's share merits with all beings and also dedicate our efforts for the attainment of Magga and Phala Jnana. Itam no punyam Magga Phala Jnana sampacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Magga Phala Jnana sampacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Magga Phala Jnana sampacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam sabhasatanam bhajimam. Itam no punyam sabhasatanam bhajimam. Itam no punyam sabhasatanam bhajimam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.